Welcome back to Lost Legacies. I'm Sam.
I'm Matt, I think. What's happening?
It's a new season, Matthew, full of new prizes, new opportunities, and I finally get to do the intro.
Fine. Well, are you going to introduce the episodes too?
No.
Oh, crap. All right.
No, I just wanted to, change it up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Keep the listeners guessing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I like it. Well, welcome back, Sam.
Welcome back, Matt.
And welcome back, listeners. Happy New Year. It's 2022.
Woo, we made it.
Yep. I hope we're all still alive, and I hope everyone's holidays were great. Sam, how was your holidays? I'm just kidding. We're pre-recording this, guys. You know us. So we're still definitely in 2021. However, let's just do a quick sidetrack. Sam just got back right before Thanksgiving from Los Angeles.
I did. I went for 4 days. Went to go visit my best friends. One of them was turning 30, and I couldn't let my boy turn 30 by himself. So
nice.
Yeah.
Anything fun? What did y'all do?
We did a lot. We did the Warner Brothers studio tour. That was super fun. Just really like you get to go on the lot and you get to actually walk around, the studio lot and go through. They drove us through some of like the sound stages where they film things. It was incredible. It was so cool. There was a guy who made he did like a hand motion to our tour guide and they were like, just like everybody be on the lookout. That signal means keep your eyes open. There's somebody here on the set. And so we were all looking, we're like, oh, who? Like somebody famous? I couldn't tell. But yeah, it's so exciting. Went to my first burlesque show.
How'd you do?
That was pretty fun. Did you say how did I do?
Well, I didn't know the context here, so
I did great. I had immaculate energy. No, it was really fun. It was really cool. Yeah, and that was fun. Ate a lot of good food. It was refreshing. Even went to Santa Monica for like an evening. So that was pretty cool. Got to see the ocean right at sunset. Oh, the waves, the cool ocean breeze coming on me. Oh, it's fantastic. It's beautiful.
Nice. Did you get to go to the pier?
Yeah. That's where we spent most of our evening.
Interesting. Funny enough, that's where the first episode of our D&D podcast may or may not take place.
Oh, that's right.
That's a bit much. It's more of it doesn't really take place there, but it's a little tease for something we've been working on, guys. Keep your eyes and ears open.
Keep your ears.
That's cool, peeled. Man.
Keep your ears open.
And I feel like this is the time of year that you went to. Like everyone, it's post Halloween, so everyone's decorating for Christmas. So you kind of got that holiday experience.
Yeah, a little bit. Like they were definitely playing Christmas music in some of the shops and around the pier. Even some stores were decorating for Christmas time. So yeah, it was cool. Oh, actually we went into this really cool was it like a secondhand clothing store. But they had a lot of like movie memorabilia just like on the walls, and such. Really quick, I forgot the name of it, but if you go upstairs, there was a second level. They had a slot machine from the movie The Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas. They had a rock slot machine back there. Yeah, my friend even went up to the guy who owned the place. He was like, "Hey, you have the slot machine from the Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas. How much?" And he just said, "It's not for sale." Like, actually, and then afterwards he was like, "I mean, technically it is, but tell me your price, and then maybe we can work something out.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah. So essentially, when somebody says tell me your price, it's like that means I can't afford it. So
$1, and then you give me your price. I'll move up slowly. You move down slowly. That's how this works, right?
that's how this works. Negotiation. We have to come to some sort of armistice. So
yeah. Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad you had fun. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Man, I really debated. I was like, I could buy a red-eye flight and spend at least one day out there with you guys and then make it back home to go to work on Monday. But y'all didn't do Disney, so I was like, okay, no, I'll pass. Maybe next time. I'll go next time.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You're so stingy. You're so picky about your LA experiences.
Well, I mean, if I'm only going to stay a day, I was like, well, I don't know. Okay, so gotta let's do some house cleaning. Is that the word? Let's do some house cleaning before we get started. Mm-hmm. So
housekeeping. That's what.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I knew I was close.
Spring cleaning, housekeeping.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone, we're going to be doing some funky stuff with the Lost Legacy schedules this year, 2022. Season 3, especially so it's kind of weird because season 3 of Lost premiered fall of 2006, and they only aired 6 episodes. So they kind of treated it like a mini series.
That's weird.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why they did that. I mean, once we get into the season, I think it'll kind of make a little more sense, but you didn't have to do that. So I don't know. I think they were also playing around with formats and like how they wanted to break things up, Mm-hmm. So for those first 6 episodes, we're just going to bring you 6 episodes, guys, right out the gate. After that, however, that's when we're going to start having some fun. Because we know, especially with season 2 of Lost, the show really slowed down. And even though, we were still having fun, just like the content of the season just really slowed down. So I don't know. I feel like it definitely should have been more fun than we were having. Mm-hmm. So we're going to mix it up a bit. We're going to continue to do season 3, but we're going to be scattering in a lot more the special episodes, our one-off episodes. Especially when you look at what we've done as a whole, it's like over 50 episodes now. The most popular ones are the non-Lost episodes. So we're still going to be talking about Lost, but there's going to be a lot more of those one-offs. We're going to change it up after those 6 episodes. We'll tell you more the closer we get. We still want to do, an episode a week. Of course, we might take a break here and there, as usual. But yeah, so just know that after these first 6 episodes, we're going to start mixing it up and having a lot more diverse content coming to the show. And I think the last piece of housekeeping is I'm really making it my goal, and this has been my goal for a while, but to stop like recapping the show so much, which may alienate some listeners, but may get more listeners. I don't know, because a lot of just, I'm the one who's doing the editing and going back and editing. I'm like, man, most of our episodes are just us discussing something we've already seen, not really adding anything to the conversation. So, and that's what this show's all about. We want to add to this conversation and kind of not get our opinions out there, but we just want to invite everyone in on the conversation. So I've been listening to, I've mentioned it before, to Boldly Watch, which is the Star Trek The Next Generation podcast. And they're almost going in the opposite way because they just started season 4 and they're really doubling down on like, okay, let's explain to people what happened and then discuss it. And, which is cool. That's fine. It's working for them. But I'm of the mindset like, look, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's because you didn't watch the episode. So there's really no reason to be here. Yeah. Unless you just love listening to us talk so much, which then if you do, you're more than welcome. Yeah. But we love you. I think, just to make things more fun and to speed up the episodes a little bit, we're going to just be just diving in and having fun with that. But I think, yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, one of the big reasons is because I was playing Fortnite last night with a friend of the show, Mickey Martinez. And he was telling me that he was watching something or he heard something where they asked a bunch of like random kids about movies. And a lot of them were saying how they don't watch movies. They watch people on YouTube review and talk about the movies. And they feel like that's all the experience they need.
Interesting.
Which is just so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
As an artist, as a creative, as a human being, that is just so heartbreaking to hear. It's like, no, that's not the experience, man. Like, let yourself feel, bro. Go on these experiences, man. Take the ride the white pony. Not literally. Don't do it. Don't do drugs.
That's kind of interesting. Because I'll watch video essays, about movies, but usually only the movies that I've seen,
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like this one person's going to talk about, like themes of isolation and mutation in regards to annihilation. So they'll talk about the book, they'll talk about the movie, they'll talk about like, here's how the script describes the things that we're seeing, and then how do you bring that to the screen, all that stuff. So like, that's really cool. Like, that's a really cool movie, and those are really cool videos. But yeah, I don't do I don't know. I mean, yeah, like I don't know, like maybe it's a generational thing, and there are definitely more things out there. There's so much content out there that it's like, it does feel overwhelming right now to sit down to watch, 2.5 hours of a movie, or any movie, for that stretch, where it's like, I could see the argument where it would be easier to just, put on a 20-minute YouTube video or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, I get that, but I also agree with you. It's like, there's an experience, and there's a thing, there's a disconnect from the media itself.
I don't know, man. It's like this ADHD world that we're creating for ourselves, like something like ADHD is a real issue that people deal with. But if you look at the way we're building our content now, on one hand, it's being custom made for that kind of mentality, for the people who have trouble latching onto something for a while, but at the same time, it feels like it's almost raising a generation to have those problems, because if you look at everything that they're watching and everything that's coming out, like, this is the YouTube generation, even though it started with our generation and a little older. A lot of content that's being consumed by that age range is YouTube. And it's just, it's crazy, man. It's, I kind of like, I do wonder if like, maybe that has to do something with why I'm having trouble reading right now, because my attention span is just so jacked up. And you literally just said, I know it seems like there's a lot of content right now and it's overwhelming. The problem is, it's not right now, Sam. Like, that's it. This is the future. It's not, that train ain't stopping. So think of think of our little cousins, who are all still in the single digits as far as their age. Like, what kind of content are they watching, and what's it going to be like once they're older, teenagers, stuff like that? Like, it's crazy, man. It's heartbreaking. It's frightening, but we'll see. So roundabout way, this is kind of me drawing the line. Like, look, we're not going to go explain scene by scene what Lost is. One, because I think that would just be boring. Just go watch the show. And two, I want to focus more on our thoughts about it. So that's kind of like the idea, the mindset that kind of sparked that for me. Well, I guess now would be a good time to start our episode. After that
Shoot.
conversation.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. So today we are talking about season 3, episode 1, A Tale of Two Cities. Jack, Kate, and Sawyer find themselves separated and imprisoned in new and unique locations. Meanwhile, the others are more sophisticated than we previously thought. All right. So first off, dude, what about that episode title? Isn't that cool? Isn't that brilliant? I love it.
That's a brilliant title.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant title. Okay, quick question. What was the Stephen King book that they were reading?
I don't know. I couldn't see it, right?
I couldn't see it. I could just tell because it was a huge, like, giant hardcover, and right at the top it had Stephen King in the letters. I don't know what it was, but I feel like just like the little bit that I saw of the cover, I feel like it's Under the Dome. And if it's Under the Dome, that's just such a, nail on the head. Like,
Actually, it's not.
Okay, what was it?
I'm just double checking here because I just looked it up. I'm looking at the episode. It's Carrie.
It's Carrie?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Huh.
Of like, of like all the references to use. I wonder why they use that.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because, again, if it was Under the Dome, I could see that, because that's about the community being isolated from the rest of the world. Again, pretty nail on the head. But okay. So the fact that it's Carrie, that's really interesting.
I mean, think about it. What's it about? It's about a young girl with powers.
Yeah. Yeah, it is about that. It's more so about that young girl coming into her own and having nobody around who is willing to, like, help, or who cares to notice, or who cares enough to do anything, cares enough to, like, help. Like, the power stuff is only it's only like turning the thing into a metaphor, or using that metaphor to talk about, teenage angst and growing up and puberty and all of that. So yeah, but it is about, coming into one's own without having any sort of support system. And yeah, so that's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's going to end up playing out then for Elizabeth Miller's character, Juliet.
That's interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I did think it was interesting that they kept talking about Ben. Who's Ben? Ben he wouldn't read this in the bathroom. And then, I mean, it's pretty obvious. We don't find out till literally the last line of the episode. We find out that, Henry is Ben. But we're pretty sure from the opening scene, because he comes out, he's like, I guess I'm not in the book club anymore. However, Henry Gale.
Was that the first time we acknowledged that Michael Emerson's Ben?
Yeah.
Oh, I fully did not even catch that.
we'll get into this for a second, because you knew just right that was Ben.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just because through the years and stuff, you knew the character's name was Ben.
Yeah.
It was really hard last season calling him Henry. And I had, even when I was editing, I had to make sure like I didn't slip up and call him Ben, because I care about people who may, I hope, be watching this show for the first time with our podcast. So we find out that's Ben, and it's pretty obvious in the beginning because he says, well, I guess I'm not in the book club anymore. However, Henry Gale, when he was captured, told Locke that he preferred Stephen King.
Oh, that's true. That? Yeah, that's right. Huh.
So he's a good liar. See, he uses the truth to fuel his lies.
Wow, what a good liar.
Think about that character, It's like, well, I mean, that's pretty much a lie. Well, no, he didn't use the truth. That was just straight up lie. He's like, I hate this. Yeah. Unless he does like Stephen King, just doesn't like that book.
Yeah, potentially. Which, if you don't like Gary, then I don't like you. So,
yeah, there you
go. Yeah. So, I want really quickly. I want to talk about the others. because I feel like it was this. I'm still having the same problem that I had in the last season's episode, 3 Minutes, where it's all just the same dialogue. It's all the same thing. It's like, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm just being, this way. I'm being mysterious and I'm masking my intentions. And it's like, I understand it. I'm already sick of it. I was sick of it last season.
Yeah.
I'm still sick of it now. The only thing that's keeping me interested is the fact that they have all of these different, it feels like all of these different sites where they're keeping Jack, Kate, and Sawyer. They're all putting them through these different sort of like psychological experiments. And it's just like, why? I get it. I get the reasoning, and also probably because studio executives wanted to stretch it out, like we're don't reveal anything just yet. But I'm sick of it. I want actual conversations with actual characters and not just stand-in stock mysterious quote unquote villains.
Yeah, I felt like this was very much like, I agree, but I also think this episode gave us a lot. I have the exact same frustrations though, except they're aimed at Jack.
Okay.
Because we finally meet a character in Juliet who, even though she's not willing to talk, like she does want to get to know Jack. She does want to, okay, she wants to talk, but we know she's not going to give any answers. We're assuming she's not going to give any truthful answers. But Jack, like she says, he's just so stubborn and he doesn't want to quit, he won't let it go. And I was so frustrated with Jack. But I think this was good because these are problems we've had with Jack the first 2 seasons. And this is kind of like the first time it's really like tackled head on. Be like, this guy is not, we mentioned this last season, how the writers are really, really doubling down on these character flaws. And it's getting a bit much. It's like, okay, don't forget to remind us why we like these characters in the first place. So I like how they really went into that with this. And he realized maybe just how futile it is, or just like he can't win. I don't know. And Julia even tells him, she's like, I know that you feel like you're giving up control, and that means you feel like you're losing. And it's like, yeah, that's Jack.
That's Jack to a T. Yeah.
They haven't said what Juliet's job is.
Yeah.
Maybe therapist. I don't know. Cause like she was really good at getting into Jack's head and understanding him.
Well, I mean, that might also help because they have that file that's entirely about Jack.
Yeah, but I mean, you can have the facts and the info, but like she's getting into his head,
That's true.
That's kind of like that's his arc. Jack doesn't get much arc in this series so far, but that's his arc of this episode. He's just so hard-headed until he's not.
Well, yeah, which I don't know. Like, I actually did kind of enjoy it this episode, though. I didn't so much enjoy the flashback where he's just like constantly like trying to figure out like, what's his name? Like, what's the name? And he's talking about his ex-wife, the man that she's leaving him for, and like she won't say the name. And I think that's a brilliant move because it's such a power move for her. It's like, you don't get that. I'm never going to give you that satisfaction, and Jack can't take that.
And let's not forget, she's the one who called it off. She called for the divorce, and she's the one who cheated.
Yeah.
But seeing the aftermath of that, seeing the whole divorce process, we really see what drove her to that. We see Jack's, we've always known he was stubborn, but like, he's like obsessive in finding out who this guy was, and it's that thing where it's like, he wasn't there when she needed him the most. And now that she's made the decision to leave,
Now that she's done taking all these steps to leave, now he can't stop thinking about her. Now he needs that sort of, this, I don't know, validation is not the right word, but he needs this. This is the thing. And that's,
he's so obsessive, and it's driven him so far to the point where Christian Shepherd looks like the good guy.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It's like, how bad, how bad do you have to be? How worse do you have to be than, to have literally the worst character in this series come off as a decent person? And what sucks even harder is that Jack drove him back to drinking.
Yeah, he was sober 50 days, man. He was trying. He was trying. He was working on it. And Jack was so obsessive and so paranoid. He thought his dad was sleeping with his wife.
Yep.
Like, it was just crazy. It's so bizarre and out of left field, but they do it well. Like, it's not like some dumb twist. They're just, oh, okay, whatever. No, like the way they portray Jack in this episode and what we know of him before, you're like, yeah, he would do something stupid like this. And that's what breaks his father, and he starts drinking again. So I'm trying to get my timeline straight here.
Okay.
When we first meet Jack in the flashback, this is all flashback talk. He seems very much like a rollover type of guy when it comes to his dad.
Okay.
He's not going to stand up to his father.
Like the very first season?
Yeah. The very first flashbacks we see of him.
Yeah.
That's very much him. That's his whole story of he's going with his dad. He's going to, just agree with whatever his dad says. And then he finds out because, his father accidentally killed someone in the operating room. Jack's going with it. He's like, this is how it happens. He's my dad. But then when he found out that woman was pregnant, that's when Jack stands up and says, no, he's like, my dad was drinking. So that Jack comes after this Jack, which is just crazy to think about. Like, so Jack knows that he broke his father and he drove him back into being an addict. So that kind of just plays into why he is that character who's just kind of like, he'll follow his dad. He'll do whatever he says, which is crazy because, when we finally saw Jack get married, settle down, start figuring stuff out, even if there's trouble, it really, and he stood up to his dad so many times in these flashbacks. It's really weird to see that, his first flashback, it wasn't like that at all. So now you start to see the full circle, like, oh, okay. So I'm assuming after this point, this is where Jack, like, he starts falling in line. He starts listening to his dad. He needs his father's approval. And I think part of it is because the guilt, he knows what he did to his father.
Absolutely.
Which just shines a whole new light between that father-son relationship. Oh, ay Dios mío. This is my soap. This is my soaps.
Yeah.
My telenovela. Oh God, I love it. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the flashbacks, though.
I will say I really did love how, like Jack is obsessed with finding out the name. He's obsessed with finding out the name, and then when he has the opportunity, because Juliet has the file, and he even asks about Sarah, and she's like, oh yeah, like you did, or she did, like she got remarried, she's very happy, or she got remarried. And you can see that he's thinking about asking it. He wants to ask it, and then he stops and he just says, is she happy? And Juliet's like, yeah, she's very happy. I'm like, that, like again, you said that like Jack doesn't get that much growth in the show, in these episodes. And that was huge. Like that hit me. I was like, oof, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, okay. Yeah. It's like, it's kind of that thing that they were also talking about, where it's like, it's this loss of control and you think you're losing. And it's like, this is actually Jack. This is a win. This is a win for him, because he's no longer he's dropped that, at least that portion of his obsession, you know.
Yeah.
What does come with that is that he does also fall into line because he sits back down, you know, and that's the cue where, you know, Juliet's going to give him the food and all that. But it's like, at least in that moment, that's a personal, you know, win for Jack. And yeah, I thought that was handled really well. This was a really good episode.
Yeah. And, you know, I was disappointed because it's another Jack Shepherd flashback. And,
but see, this was good
because it fit. It fit narratively with where he's at on the island. Not saying that it has to, because we've had, you know, episodes where it didn't, but the flashbacks were still okay. You're like, all right, that's cool.
Right.
But it felt, you know, he was going on in present day and the flashback, he was going on this journey together, and like it really worked. So kudos to that. So back to the island stuff. What did you think about the opening of the episode?
I mean, like, I called it, like, as soon as it opened up, you know, like they're listening, you know, Downtown starts playing, and I'm like, what else? It's like, it feels like, okay, because they did such a good job with the opening of season 2, it's like, we have to top it with season 3. It's like, okay, so what are we gonna do? Picturesque, perfect, book club, you know, all this stuff, and then all of a sudden the explosion, and then it's like, and then we find out these are the others. This is their weird compound, and this is the day that the plane crashed.
Yeah. And also, you've known Elizabeth Mitchell was in this show. So, like, I guess on first time watching, like, she wasn't a name or anything. I certainly didn't know who she was. So I'm just like, okay, who's this random person? So it was more like shocking to me that first time when I watched him, like, oh, okay. And I guess, and especially because, one, you see Ethan, he's the plumber, and you see Goodwin just hanging out there. And of course, you see Henry, who's actually Ben. And I'm like, oh, yeah. When you watch the plane break apart over the sky, I'm like, oh, God. Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was really cool. Also, we got that cool, like, zoom out of their compound and its position on the island. And I was watching it with my wife, and she was like, damn, this is a really big island. I was like, yeah, it is. Man.
I thought that was a cool opening. So, okay, I guess let's go up to the next one in the billing. Kate,
I mean, like, Kate definitely gets the short end this episode.
Yeah.
You know,
although it was pretty good. Like, even though she's barely in it.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty intense. I was like, whoa, this is getting creepy real fast.
Yeah. And because it's like, you know, she gets told, you know, it's like she's going to take a shower. So, you know, we get like a little bit of that. She is then told to put on a dress, and then she goes down to the beach to have lunch with Henry, who we know is Ben. We're just going to call him Ben. All right. From this moment forward. Okay. Michael Emerson's Ben. Yeah. All right. So, just have the Ben. And that's like, this is like on par with like a James Bond, you know, sort of scene right there. They're having, you know, like she's handcuffed, you know, they're talking about, you know, all the bad things that are going to happen. It's like, it's a beautiful scene. And yet there's so much menace in that.
Oh, dude, so creepy.
Yeah. And so, like, you know, she's doing great. She's doing a good job. You know, it is just like, it kind of sucks. Like, we haven't seen these characters in months, and now here we are, and Kate doesn't really do anything in the episode, you know, like there's nothing for her, but you know, again,
but I think it's also
opening.
It's also setting stuff up. Cause Ben tells her too, like, these next 2 weeks are not going to be pleasant. Like, oh, like, God.
Is that a little fourth wall break, like to the fans of the show? Like,
right. I was like, oh,
this isn't going to be fun.
Yeah. And then of course we get Sawyer in a zoo. I don't know, like a cage.
All right, right off the bat, that young dude who was with him, that's one of the others. That's just,
well, I mean, Tom even calls him by name, Chuck, right? Is his name Chuck?
I think so.
Chuck or Chad or I'd say Charlie, but we already have one Charlie on the
Where
side.
I'm gonna call him Siobhan.
Siobhan,
Yeah.
Charleston. I don't know. He looks like a Charleston.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, sure, but I mean, like, he's in on it. That's the thing. That's the thing about the little Jack even pegs it like that place that he's in, like it's an aquarium. You know?
Well, hang on a second. Because Jack opens the door to escape after they told him you're gonna kill us, and then the thing fills with water, and then he has to work with Juliet to lower the water and get safety. And she punches him one punch, which is cool because he does take her hostage, and she's able to one punch him.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
So that was cool. But then when he wakes up and he's just like, "We're underwater." No shit. What gave it away?
Look, dude, he's a surgeon. Like he's intelligent. He's book smart, is what he is. All right,
he's book smart, man.
He's book smart. He's not. He's intelligent. He's not wise. Yeah, it's but more so, it's sort of like when the episode first opens and he's on the table and he's like he can't get out of the door. He sees the open door and then hits the glass and sees all the change and stuff. I'm like, this is Saw. But it's Saw lesson that like it's a death trap in this. Like this is just it's a game. It's an experiment.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Because first thing I thought of was Deep Blue Sea. And I'm like, dude, this looks like one of those like operating shark things. I'm
that's
like,
true. That's true. Also, going back to that really quick. They even say, once after Jack does the whole thing and he's like, this is an aquarium, like we're underwater. It's like, what? Like you put sharks up here and all that? And Juliet's like, dolphins too. I'm like, oh, we finally got an answer. This is where the shark got the tattoo. But why? More questions upon questions. Anyway, like this is like this whole episode was just setting up like this idea that like we're going to be these three characters are going to be put through experiments. Games are going to be tested. Games are going to be played. I have to laugh that they don't think that Sawyer is good enough to be put in the same place where Jack is. So they're just like, we're going to just put him in this polar bear cage, Let him figure out how to get food. Yeah.
Figured it out. He's like, the bears did it in 2 hours.
It's like, yeah, well, how many were there?
Okay, so let's talk about because Sawyer didn't really like the kid helped him escape, but you could tell he was like a decoy because Tom even has him apologize, is like, thank you for helping me escape, blah blah blah. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Like you could tell he was setting Sawyer up. But then they stick Kate in there in the cage across from him. And it's such a good scene between those two characters. Like he's checking in on her, making sure she's okay, vice versa. And he throws her like the fish biscuit and stuff. And like he even gives her this look, like that's the end of the scene. And I'm like, man, this guy's falling for Kate hard. He's always been a jerk, he's always wanted to get into Kate's pants. That's no question. But like he's falling for her, man. I'm like, maybe it's the cages. She's in that dress. I think what's that line from Speed where Sandra Bullock says, most relationships that are like forged under stressful situations never work out. It's something like that,
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going. Even Ben calls Kate out on it when they first sit down, and she's like, "Where's Sawyer? Where's Jack?" And he just looks at her. He's like, "Why him first?
Yeah.
Why do you say Sawyer first?" Kate's like, "You don't know me. You don't do it." Yeah. It's like kind of calling. I was like, "Oh, you have a crush? You have a crush on Sawyer, don't you? Come on, you can tell me." That's kind of how that movie
he's the
felt.
Bad boy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like they're Sawyer and Kate's moment together. That was, that was really sweet. And like, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the little glimmer, this is going to be the thing that I hold on to in these coming weeks, as they get subjected to more and more psychological tests.
It is interesting how they're together and separated from Jack. You know, I'm like, I'm wondering what's Ben's thinking of how he moves them around.
Yeah, I wonder if Jack's gonna move from that place, you know, and eventually be put up with like Sawyer or Kate.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, man. This is a solid episode, and I think what helped is we only got 3 of our survivors in this episode.
Yeah.
The ones who were captured. We didn't get anyone else from the island and the camp or Saeed and them on the boat or anything. Which is good, you know. I think they learned their lesson from last year where they're like, okay, we're going to tell the same story across 3 episodes from 3 different perspectives. You know, I think it's like, no, and it helps that everyone's kind of split up right now. So we'll probably see the camp. We'll probably see Sun and Jin. But also they don't really seem to be in danger right now. You know, definitely all our questions going into season 3 are, well, what's going on with the hatch? But it's mainly like the others. Like, okay, they're straight up. We have our 3 leads with the others. Like, what's gonna happen? Where's this going? MVPs.
Ooh. This is a good one.
Yeah.
All right. I'll throw this out here right now. Really dug Matthew Fox in this. Really, I think this hopefully is a real turning point for Jack as a character, and I think this is a side of Jack that we've sort of seen before, but now it's just overblown, you know, and we get that small moment, that small catharsis at the end. Is really great, super great.
It's good to actually see something like a new facet of Jack. You know, Matthew Fox really stood out this episode. So kudos to him.
But I'll say, is her name Elizabeth Miller or Mitchell?
No, Mitchell.
Mitchell. Okay. You said Miller earlier.
Did I?
Yeah. That's why I was like, oh no.
Oh, Mitchell.
Okay.
Well, okay. So apologies, but yeah, apparently I said Elizabeth Miller earlier. I meant Elizabeth Mitchell, and I'm sticking with it because she would be my MVP.
Yeah, mine too.
She's a brand new character, but like in a way, she's kind of she's kind of a second lead, really, because Jack's story is really anchored with his flashbacks, but everything on the island, like Juliet's kind of going in and out of, you know, and we finally have an other who we can, I don't want to say empathize with, but just like, I want to talk to her, you know, and it's not just give me answers, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, like I'm really curious about her story because she seems just like a normal person.
I think that's the thing too, where it's like where everybody else feels like they're putting on a facade.
Yeah.
And even at the end, when she talks to Ben, I kind of question if she's also putting on a facade.
Oh, well, he straight up left her to die when the water came down.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And from the beginning of the episode, we know that there's some kind of contention between those two, but we don't know what. So automatically our supposed big bad right now is already butting heads with this new character, Juliet. So that opens up like so many more questions now. We're like, okay, let's see what's going to happen. And I think it's very telling that this is the first character we meet this season. Just like last season where we find Desmond first, and then we slowly are introduced to him and his world in the hatch. Immediately we're thrown in with Juliet and her world. So I think her story is going to be really interesting this year, and I'm curious to see where that takes us. Because even though Desmond was just in the beginning and end of season 2, he definitely set us on a path that changed the show, you know? So we'll see what happens with Juliet. It's all right. MVPs, Matthew Fox and Elizabeth Mitchell. All right, dude. We're only one episode into season 3, but do you have any guesses or any theories? What do we call it?
Predictions.
How, man, geez, we were off for a few weeks and I already forgot everything. I forgot how to podcast. Is this recording? Is it recording? Are you on?
Hello? Is this on?
Okay.
Testing.
We're doing it live. Predictions.
We'll fix it in post. So, Jack, Sawyer, Kate, Cyclops, Wolverine, Jean Grey. That feels like the trajectory that we're going to go. I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of physical test, for Sawyer, outside of like the like the cage stuff that he's been doing. I feel like he's going to be put through like the most like physical examination or experimentation. Yeah. Because I feel like the others underestimate him. They got him pegged like, oh, he's hot-headed, he's a redneck, whatever, like he doesn't know what he's doing, which not that far off, but I feel like they don't realize how smart he is.
Yeah.
Whereas we as the audience, like we keep getting reminded, like the episode last season, with the guns and all that, like, oh, another great episode.
He's like, or Jack is intelligence. Here we go with our D&D stats. Jack is intelligence. Sawyer's wisdom. Yeah. Sawyer's thing is all about we always forget how, like you said, how smart he is, but also we're constantly reminded how dumb he is because he keeps making mistakes. But his superpower is his way with people.
Yeah.
He knows how to twist his words and he knows how to get information for people. Where Saeed has to torture someone, Sawyer just has to use his words. Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to come down to a sort of like a physical exertion or something, and then he's going to have to, how he's going to like try and like get out of that is for maybe somebody who's like coming to like clean his wounds or something like that. Kate, I'm kind of unsure about. I feel like it's going to be some sort of like trust experiment. And I don't know, like they put her in the cage at the end, and that kind of like threw off a theory that I had. But my theory was that like they're going to take Kate, they've put her in a dress and they're just going to try and acclimate her, try and like, here's all her stuff. Like, we're going to take you around, like obviously under armed escort, but sort of show her where things are, sort of make it seem like it's okay, it's safe or something. I still feel like something like that's going to happen, like I feel like everybody's going to get like a Juliet.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like either their own, or maybe Juliet's just going to be working with all three of them. But yeah, I feel like that's sort of the key. Like they're going to get some sort of person who's supposed to be a confidant. And of course, because it's the others and because it's Lost, there's going to be some twist that's like, haha, we got more information out of you than we thought or something. Or we gave you a psychological breakthrough, and that's how they acclimate people to their side. Yeah. Also, I feel like the tattoo shark is going to come back in a big way.
Nice. Yeah. I what's really interesting is when Jack is talking to Juliet, he straight up asks her, he's like, "Are you Dharma?" Because this is all their stuff. And she just kind of looks down. She's like, "That was a long time ago." It's like, ooh. Okay. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to get into this lore. I haven't jumped into this lore for like 15 years. So I'm like, let's do it. I'm ready.
I'm excited. Yeah. And you know, this is my first time watching, so I'm excited to see, to see some stuff play out.
Yeah. And you know, there's little things like, okay, why 2 weeks, Ben? Why do you need them for 2 weeks? What are you going to be doing to them for 2 weeks? Why only 2?
Weirdo.
Also, let's not forget that they specifically asked for Jack, Kate, and Sawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll find out next week. Probably not.
Yeah, probably
But
not.
next week we're talking about season 3, episode 2, The Glass Ballerina. Sun, Jin, and Saeed begin to suspect that their friends have been captured.
Oh, that's a good suspicion. Yeah.
No spoilers, but they have. So before we finished,
damn it.
what were you gonna say?
I should have said this earlier, but when I said the shark's gonna come back in a big way, I was like, what I should have said was, I bet he's gonna make a real splash. Damn it. Now it just feels awkward.
Oh yeah. Damn, that would be good.
Well, this is the energy. This is the energy we're coming into this season.
Yeah, maybe I'll just edit it and put it in there. Okay, so this episode, I don't know if you noticed this, but it was written by Damon Lindelof and J.J. Abrams.
Really?
Mm-hmm. This was
back.
J.J. Abrams' first contribution to the series since the pilot episode, and it was also his final contribution to the series as a whole. It was so weird. Like, he just decided to come back for this one episode.
That's so weird.
He had some downtime, maybe. I don't know.
Probably from what? What was he doing?
I don't know at this point.
Mission Impossible 3, maybe? Or Alias? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what, yeah, it's so interesting that people just like tie J.J. Abrams to Lost so much, you know?
Yeah, and he really didn't have that much to do. Like, they came up with the pilot and they came up with some of the starter ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, it really isn't a J.J. Abrams production, you know? I'm just like, yeah, not really.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you look at the two people who really did have the biggest hand in it was Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof. So.
Mm-hmm.
Also, last bit of info, because we mentioned before how all the weird numbers go. Technically, this episode is the 50th hour of Lost.
Oh,
50.
interesting.
Yeah.
Heck of a 50th hour.
Yeah, it's the 50th hour. And I bring that up because at this point, they were still counting, I want to say, like the season finales as one episode. I don't remember. But because essentially when it came out, the big 50th episode was season 3, episode 3.
Oh, interesting.
But this is technically the 50th hour. And that's kind of how we see Lost going backwards, like in retrospect now. So the big 100th episode, it was actually the 100th hour. So I figured it is kind of weird. It doesn't really feel like a big like 50th, although it doesn't have to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's the 50th hour. Okay. So we'll have to see what happens in episode 3.
Interesting.
So yeah, as always, guys, thanks for joining us. We're starting off a new year, and I still have the same old social media handles. In fact, I had to clear out my cookies and my cache the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So that locks you out of everything. I could not remember how to get into Twitter. And I was like, oh, bitch, what is I couldn't remember my Twitter email. So I'm like, okay, what is my Twitter name? What's my handle? I can't remember. I say it every week. And I was like, _ Matt Jimenez. Got it. And then I remember the password. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks to this podcast, I still have my Twitter. And you can find me there at _ Matt Jimenez and on Instagram at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch.
And as always, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Reel. It's REEL Texas Weirdo.
Until next time,
get lost. Oh God.
Splish splash, Sam.